All right, let's just dive right into this. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a pretty fascinating, almost metaphorical tour through the ultimate modern 2026 Dubai Executive Suite. Now, if you think you already know what a top-tier CEO office looks like, picturing that giant, intimidating mahogany desk and maybe a sad, dying ficus plant in the corner, well, prepare to have those assumptions completely rewired. We are going to deconstruct exactly how today's top business leaders are leveraging interior architecture, and it's not just to look powerful. It's to actually enhance their cognitive performance and foster much more genuine relationships.
Okay, listen to this quote. Luxury today is not styled for photographs. It is designed to be lived in. That, right there, that fundamentally changes everything we know about high-end workspace design. What we're really seeing in 2026 is this massive shift away from performative opulence. We all know those spaces, the ones that look incredible on a screen but just feel totally cold and uninviting when you actually walk into them. Instead, modern authority in design is all about intentional, lived-in comfort. It's about creating spaces that actually breathe and adapt to the person using them.
So, here's our blueprint for today's explainer. 1. The new Executive Suite. 2. Colors of authority. 3. Materials that speak. 4. Lighting the executive mind. 5. The hospitality layer. And finally, 6. The future of workspaces.
Starting off with Section 1, the new Executive Suite, from isolation to agility.
There is a massive contrast at play here. The old executive formula, it basically relied on isolation. You'd walk in and boom, there was this massive desk acting as a literal, physical, and psychological barrier. It was all about performative display. But the modern Executive Suite is a whole different ballgame. Today, the design is incredibly agile. We're seeing a primary work area seamlessly paired with a really comfortable lounge setting. It's a space built to support high-stakes decision-making one minute and then quiet, relationship-building conversations the very next.
So instead of just using sheer bulk to intimidate people, this new design actually connects the leader to their environment. By removing all that visual clutter and bringing in organic, biophilic elements like lush indoor greenery, the space suddenly feels composed. It feels grounding. The modern DMCC, or Dubai Executive Office, completely replaces that old heavy bulk with smart proportion, making the leader feel deeply connected rather than boxed in and isolated.
Moving right along to Section 2, Colors of Authority, the Psychological Palette.
Enter what designers are calling the Executive Sophistication Palette. Executive spaces in Dubai right now are leaning heavily into these specific landscape-led tones. We've got the deep, rich woods like mahogany and espresso, then these warm kind of dune-inspired sand tones, terracotta and leather. And then they finish it off with sophisticated accents, like a muted olive and a really deep harbor teal. It's an incredibly grounded narrative.
Now, you might be wondering, why do these specific colors actually matter? Well, psychologically, mahogany and espresso act as architectural anchors. They provide a ton of depth and immediately communicate established excellence in traditional values. But if you only use dark woods, the room is going to feel way too heavy. That's exactly why layering in those terracotta and olive tones is so absolutely vital. They bridge the gap. They introduce this human-centric, approachable warmth right alongside the authority.
Section 3, Materials that Speak. The tactile journey.
Let's break down how this actually builds out step by step. First up, you establish a really calm base. We're usually talking polished concrete or beautiful pale travertine stone floors. Next, you wrap the envelope of the room in a dark timber architectural background that creates this really quiet, serious tone. And then finally, you bring in the focal point, an incredibly expressive marble command desk. Instead of just slapping stone everywhere, which, let's be honest, can be super overwhelming, you concentrate it into one major, permanent piece for absolute maximum impact.
But you can't just leave it completely rigid, right? To stop the room from feeling overly stiff or formal, designers are introducing essential tactile comfort, often pulling from really high-end luxury furniture brands. Think soft, muted green upholstery for the guest chairs and bespoke woven sculptural pendant lighting hanging from above. These softer materials break up that strict geometry and make sure that any guest walking in feels instantly at ease.
All right, Section 4, Lighting the Executive Mind, the Biological Clock.
This part is absolutely fascinating. In a windowless or deeply enclosed office, traditional artificial lighting can literally wreck your productivity. But advanced artificial skylights, like the patented tech from Colix, they faithfully reproduce the actual blue sky and sunlight indoors.
And the biological benefits? They are staggering. We're talking increased parasympathetic tone for much better recovery, reduced fight-or-flight stress responses, and even higher nighttime melatonin levels. Get this, participants exposed to this light experienced up to 18 minutes of longer, deeper sleep at night, and they maintained their exact same cognitive performance, but with a significantly lower mental load.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why the year 2017 was such a massive turning point. That was the year the Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded for uncovering the molecular mechanisms of our circadian rhythm. It mathematically validated what we've kind of always felt. Our internal biological clock is deeply, inevitably tied to natural light. So, replicating the sky indoors, it isn't just some neat little design trick anymore. It is a proven biological tool for high performance.
Take the Nordea Bank office, for example. Colux artificial skylights are just seamlessly integrated right in with biophilic design. It literally feels sun-drenched inside. And when you have shadows from indoor leaves adding organic movement to the space, it feels so natural, so human. It completely transforms the atmosphere, which is absolutely crucial during long winters or if you're stuck in the middle of a deep-plan office building.
Section 5. The hospitality layer. Softening authority.
By utilizing pieces from top-tier luxury furniture brands, stepping away from that imposing marble desk and moving over to a dedicated lounge area entirely changes the dynamic. You instantly move from a formal, highly hierarchical conversation to a much more agile, collaborative one. Honestly, this is where the genuine relationship building actually happens.
The why behind this is critical for senior leadership. You really need a space that acts as a quiet sanctuary, whether it's for your own private reflection or for hosting a client in a much more informal way. Having a generous sofa backed up against a warm timber wall, surrounded by subtly illuminated shelving and bespoke luxury carpentry, it strips away all that corporate coldness and replaces it with true, welcoming hospitality.
And our final section, 6, the future of workspaces enduring design.
So, what are our key takeaways here? Well, true modern luxury in 2026 is absolutely no longer about just slapping massive screens on every single wall, not at all. It is about intelligence embedded completely invisibly into the architecture. Think automated climate and lighting that you don't even notice. It's about rigorous acoustic planning, absorbing sound to create this ultimate sense of calm. It's about sustainability driving the choice of materials so they actually outlast those fleeting trends. And above all else, it's about fluid zones that actually adapt to human routines.
Which leaves us with this final kind of provocative thought. I want you to think about where you spend your day. Does your workspace actually reflect your ambition, your need for psychological well-being, and your biological need for light? Or is it secretly holding you back? Challenge yourself to look at your environment through this new lens of enduring design and performance. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you on the next one.